Hey, what's going on? This is Sports Truth. I'm your host, Jordan Harris. So, today, let's jump right into the Miami Hurricanes coaching staff's brain. Try to figure out what is their game plan for this quarterback situation. Since Cam Ward came for the visit and then he left and he's supposed to be visiting Florida State, I believe, right now, I've been reading a lot of comments and a lot of Miami Hurricanes fans are wondering, like, well, what is the game plan? What are we supposed to be trying to do right now? Are we thinking that this person's number one? Are we thinking this person's number two? The people that's currently on the roster, do we have any game plan for them? What's going on? So I'm not an insider or anything like that. Don't pretend to be, but I do use logic. Logic rules everything around me. I'm sure y'all have heard me say that. Yeah, I'm all about logic. I go where the facts take me, and I've got a pretty good idea based on some of the decisions that they've made. I've got a pretty good idea on what the pecking order is and what their game plan is as far as this quarterback situation goes. Before we jump into it, I do want to take a second to thank St. Louis 417. He has been a subscriber from almost the beginning of this channel. He's always leaving positive comments, even when he doesn't agree with people. He's always respectful, and he just seems pretty cool. So because of that, I want to give St. Louis 417 some respect, and I also want to send you $50 through Cash App. So if you go to my YouTube profile, you'll see there's an email on there. So just email me your Cash App handle, and I will send that $50 over to you. I appreciate you, man. God bless you. Appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the video now. All right, so making sense of the Miami Hurricanes quarterback situation. What is Miami Hurricanes quarterback game plan? Like, where are we going right now, right? I've been seeing that all over social media everywhere. So, like I said earlier, Cam Ward came to visit. He left. A lot of people were hoping that he made a commitment there, but he did not do that. He came, he left. We also had Will Howard on campus, quarterback from K State. He came, he left. No commitment or anything like that. Then we also have Emory Williams, who snapped his arm, looked crazy against Florida State, who played pretty decent. And then we have Ja'Curry Brown, who played last year a couple of games, I think three games, maybe 4 games. I think started 2 games. And he just looked like a freshman who didn't really have a lot of experience, which is fair, right? He was a freshman who didn't have a lot of experience. He is going to play in the bowl game, so a lot of us will be able to see what type of, what kind of, I don't know. Let's see. We'll be able to see how much better he's gotten. Let's just say that. All right. Um, okay. So, with all that being said, my guess is that the Hurricanes, and this is based off of things that have happened, my guess is that the Hurricanes coaching staff value Cam Ward number one. That's their top priority in this QB bonanza. Let's just call it that. I think Will Howard is their second option. I think it's not option 1A and 1B like I've been hearing. I think that Cam Ward is number one. I think Will Howard is number two. And I think Emory Williams and Ja'Curry Brown, if Ja'Curry decides to stay another year, I think they are 3A and 3B. That's my thoughts on that. That does not mean that the quarterbacks that's on the roster right now, Emory and Ja'Curry, doesn't mean that they're not ready. It just means that it would benefit them to have another year under their belt to sit and watch. We've seen what happens when quarterbacks get thrown into a game, get thrown into a situation too early. Their confidence gets snatched away from them, and they never rebound from it. So could those quarterbacks, Ja'Curry and Emory, could they start this coming year? Sure. I think the coaches are okay with that, but I think that they would prefer for those two quarterbacks to sit another year, watch and develop, and then come out and play really well that the second and third year of their college career. Um, if you're wondering why I believe that, it's because right now everything basically is just sitting and waiting on what Cam Ward does. Like everything. And that's just not our program. Everybody's waiting to hear what he says, right? But I believe that Will Howard has gotten super quiet since the visit. I believe that he actually would commit to Miami right now if it were not for Cam Ward being the top priority. Everything hinges on Cam Ward. I think if Cam Ward came out and committed elsewhere, I think that Miami would get a response from Will Howard either the same day or the next day. That's my thoughts on that. Um, so, once again, I think Cam Ward is their top priority. I think they're waiting on him. I think Will Howard is number two. And then I think Emory Williams and Ja'Cory Brown, 3A and 3B. That's my thoughts on that. So let's talk about the concerns that I have, and maybe you all have with those, with that plan too. So the first one is like, what if Cam Ward takes so long? Like he said that he might take 1 or 2 weeks to make a decision on the school. What if he takes so long that we miss out on Cam Ward and Will Howard just gets tired of waiting? He's like, man, I'm not gonna keep waiting like that. So that's one of the concerns that I've thought myself and I've also seen online. And the answer to that I would give if I was the head coach, I would say the only way you can win big is if you risk big. That's the only way that you can do that. Um, so, yeah, there is an opportunity for Will Howard to get tired of waiting and go somewhere else. But if you don't wait, then you don't get the opportunity of having Cam Ward on your team. So that also gives me reason to believe that the coaching staff have the mentality that Cam Ward and Will Howard are not neck and neck in this situation. I believe that they think there's a sizable gap between the two of those quarterbacks. The reason why I believe that is if they thought those quarterbacks were neck and neck as far as talent and fit goes, then they would just be trying to throw all the marbles out there right now to try to get Will Howard to sign, which maybe they are doing that behind the scenes, but I haven't seen it. You all haven't seen it. We don't know, right? But I think they believe there's quite a bit of a drop-off from Cam Ward to Will Howard because to me it looks like they got pictures released of Cam Ward going out to dinner. I didn't see any of that Will Howard. They released details about what they did and who was touring him around the facility whenever Cam Ward went there. I didn't hear any of that stuff for Will Howard. So it seems like they're pulling out all the stops for Cam Ward, and Will Howard is not getting that same attention, which makes me believe that they clearly think there's a big drop off between the two of those quarterbacks. Okay, so what's the other concern? The other concern with this game plan of the 1, 2, 3A, and 3B is what if the uncertainty causes the Hurricanes to lose recruits? And once again, the same answer that I would have on this is the only way you can win big is if you risk big. If we don't sign, if Cam Ward does not commit to Miami Hurricanes, obviously there is potential for recruits that might have flipped to Miami to say, man, I'm not waiting on this. I'm just going to go somewhere else. But you have to ask yourself, what if Cam Ward does commit to Miami? How many of those players out there that's considering committing to Miami, that's considering flipping from Ohio State to Miami, if Cam Ward is there, the possibility of that happening goes through the roof, right? So high risk, high reward. That's the way I'm looking at it. And I think that's the same way the coaches are looking at it right now. Because if you get Cam Ward, those flips that we're all hoping for, that number one receiver, number one player in the nation, the possibility of that happen goes through the roof whenever you have a quarterback like Cam Ward on the roster. Because that momentum is just going like crazy whenever something like that happens. So the only question that I have that I would ask these coaches, because I really do believe this is their game plan, I think this is their mentality. I feel like Cam Ward's 1, Will Howard's 2, Williams and Brown 3A and 3B, and there's a significant dip from Cam Ward to Will Howard. That's what I think these coaches feel. So the question that I would ask the coaches would be, how long is too long to wait? Is 1 week okay? Is 2 weeks way too long? Like, is it too long to go past signing day? Like, what is too long? And that's the question. If I was the head coach, I would be asking all of the people that work with me. It's like, hey, man, how long do we wait for this commitment? Because there are some ramifications for waiting too long, let's just be honest. And, of course, you do want to risk big to win big. But at some point, there are things where you got to say, man, that risk is too high for the reward. So if the risk is way up here and the potential reward is down here, then you don't want to do that. You want to have the risk way up here and the reward, the potential reward way up here as well. So that's just my thoughts on it. I'm really curious and interested to know what you all think about this. Do you think I'm crazy for thinking that this is the pecking order that the coaches are most likely thinking? Do you think that they have a different pecking order in mind? Do you think they are totally off of Will Howard? Do you think that they are totally off of the quarterbacks that we have on staff right now? What's your thoughts on that? Super interested to read all that. As you know, if you have watched any of these videos, if you've followed any of the comment sections, you probably know by now that I'm super active in the comment section. I actually respond to almost every single comment that's on there. I would say 99% of them I respond to. So yeah, if you want to have a question, if you have any concerns or comments, please leave those down there. I'm sure I'd respond to those. Also, like and subscribe to the channel. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we are working to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which is obviously December 31st. So we've got about 16 days or so to reach that goal, and we have been climbing pretty steadily. So we appreciate you all for that. I think that's all that I have for you. All that I have left to say is what I always say at the end of my videos, which is you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So God bless. Take care. Peace.